Hello, fellow human. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and let's get on with your daily dose of r/I don't work your lady stories. The first story is a sequel from yesterday's story, so if you haven't watched it yet, be sure to check it out. What a Mess Act 3. Here it is, the final installment. I'd love to pretend I did this on purpose to build suspense, but in reality, I've been a combination of overworked and lazy. Our story is set at a coffee shop in a busy town center. My day of justice started with myself starting my closing supervisor's duties. I had just started pulling food to thaw when one of my coworkers said she needed me. I walked out from the back of house to help resolve whatever issue had arisen when I came face to face with the dinosaur Karen. It took her a moment, maybe a bit longer than me. She went from angry to surprise, and then right back to angry. I was definitely remembered. She turned to my coworkers and snarled at my appearance. "Excuse me, I asked for your manager." I stepped from behind the counter and got closer to her. "Well, he is unfortunately not here at the moment. I'm the supervisor at the moment." She whipped her head in my direction, and I could see the displeasure on her face. Before I could ask what the problem was, she thrust a cup in my direction. "This was on for the sale wall, but said it's not on sale." I took the cup from her and inspected it. I had set up the shelves myself, and I definitely hadn't put this on for the sale wall. Yep, she's right. This isn't a sale cup. My answer definitely didn't help. "Well, it's on the wall. If it isn't on sale, it shouldn't be there." I desperately wanted to kick her out and go back to my duties. I realized I would have to actually help her this time. Duck! Well, I understand, and you're right, but it wasn't supposed to be. People pick up cups and just put them back anywhere. It shouldn't have been on that wall.
"But it was up there, so it should be in sale."
It was like talking to an irate brick. She wasn't smart enough to be a wall. I excused myself to the back to call my manager and figure out what to do. I held out brief hope that I could be told to tell the crazy lady to leave. My precious naivety. He instructed me to give her 10% off to get her out of the store. Ugh. I didn't want to cater to her entitlement, but that is retail, right? And then I gave it to her and she left the store happy. I really wish that was what had happened. I walked back out, interrupting her hunt for more cups on the for sale wall that should have not been on sale. I'm very sorry about the confusion. I lied through my teeth. "I can give you 10% off of the sale price." She scolded at me.
"This sign says 40% off. That is what the sign says."
I smiled. "Well, it says up to, ma'am, not a guaranteed amount off." She huffed at me.
"Fine."
We went to the register and I started to ring her up. "Alright, it's gonna be total." She handed me a single bill and started waiting. I just blinked at her. "I need 5 more cents." She shrugged unapologetically.
"I don't have 5 cents.
"Well, that didn't sound anything like my problem." "Well, I need 5 cents."
"I don't have 5 cents.
She looked at the tip jar and reached in a hand, rummaging before I stopped her. "Well, that is a tip jar, not a change bin. We can't accept anything from it." I got a frustrated growl.
"Just change the percent off. Do the 40.
I shook my head. "I'm sorry, I can't do that." It was like I was just talking to a weak imitation of her true self. She evolved into her final form before my eyes.
"You will do it? How dare you treat a customer like this?"
She raged and paced, knocking over 2 cups. They shattered on the floor, eliciting a pointed,
"I'm not paying for those."
With the ruckus she was causing, I finally had a reason to ask her to leave. "I'm sorry, but you're causing a scene and disturbing other customers. I have to ask you to leave." She didn't just refuse, she screamed.
"I'm not going anywhere without my cup."
"Well, suit yourself." I went to the back and called the non-emergency line, explained the situation, and waited. One of the biggest advantages of the location of our store was that it was up the street from the police station. They showed up within 10 minutes. I watched as they went to speak to Dinosaur Karen. I watched as she ranted and raged at them. And then I watched as, at one of officer's response, she threw down a bag of coffee beans that exploded at her feet. As one officer sat her down and forced her to stay seated, the other came over to me. Do you want to trespass her? I couldn't say yes fast enough. Dinosaur Karen was told that she was now banned from the establishment and could not return within the next 3 years. Cue waterworks, arguing, and some form of gibberish that I couldn't translate through her sobs. She tearfully signed her portion of the paper and gathered her things. The police escorted her out of the store and to her car. I've had a lot of fun recounting the story to my coworkers and boss. I'm curious if I will find Dinosaur Karen again, or if this was our final meeting after all. Well, with tales like that, no, you aren't done meeting with her. It sounds like God is putting her on your path to hammer home a point. The second story. Ma'am, just because I'm Latino doesn't mean I work at this Mexican restaurant. For context, where I live, our state has recently allowed restaurants to open indoor dine-in service with expanded capacity. A couple of days ago, I go into one of my favorite restaurants, a Mexican restaurant, to pick up a takeout order. When I get there, the hostess/owner told me it might take an extra few minutes because they have been bombarded by orders. Not an issue, I just wait. While I'm waiting for the hostess to come back with my food from the kitchen, I see some people I know at a table eating. They wave at me over, so I go say hi and talk to them. In Spanish, we're all Latinos, while I'm waiting. Next thing I know, I hear a woman say, "Excuse me, excuse me." It took me a minute to figure out that she was talking to me because I looked around and didn't see the actual waitress inside. She was in the outdoor seating area. I make eye contact with this woman and ask, is there something I can help you with? She rolls her eyes and replies, "Yes, I've been standing here for 10 minutes and you refuse to even acknowledge me. I want a table for me and my friends." I tell her that I don't work at the restaurant, which she refuses to believe. "I see you're talking to seated customers and you clearly look like you work here." Mind you, I'm dressed in jeans, a sweater, and a mask, and that's it. I firmly tell her that I don't work here, to leave me alone, and just turn away completely as I see the hostess/owner come back from the kitchen. This is when she starts yelling. The hostess runs up and asks what is going on. The woman tells her, "You have this rude insert racial slur about Latinos working here that refuses to do her job. All she wants to do is talk to her friends at that table." Points out the people I was talking to. "I've been waiting for over 10 minutes for a table while she ignores me. This is ridiculous that you would hire someone like that." At this point, everybody stops what they are doing after she called me a slur. Didn't hurt my feelings at all because I know this is coming from a total random lady who is just the worst. The hostess/owner tells her that I don't work here, that calling me a slur is disgusting, and to get out and never come back. The woman just stutters a few times before storming out, saying probably racial stuff under her breath. I pay for my food, leave a huge tip, all while the owner is apologizing to me about what happened. I told her it was all good, and honestly, that it was way more embarrassing for the screaming woman who had all the color drop from her face when the owner told her that I was a customer and for her to get out. What a complete cow! There's always a dumb racist person around, I guess. The third story. Crazy hack yells at me in front of my parents because she thought I was lazy at work. So for this story, we need a little backstory first. I'm from a country that has a school system nothing like America. We have different types of high school and I happen to be in school for tourism. In our school, we learn how to be a waiters/waitresses, cooks, receptionists, etc. And after this high school, we can, but it's not necessary to go to college as we already have experience. We have so-called practice. Teacher who is teaching us, for example, cooking, will 1 year send us for around like 15 to 30 days to a hotel or restaurant to work there to gain experience and knowledge. 15 while we are in the school and 30 on summer break. It is not easy, but it is nice. We have to buy uniforms from school for cooks and waiters and go to practice in them. Okay, now this story. I was waitress last summer before COVID-19 and we got our uniforms. So, I went to my hometown tour away from a big city to work in a restaurant. After a month, we could get paid and we could keep tips from people. So, on my 2 weeks of going to work, it was fantastic by the way. People were really nice except for two hacks who yelled at me all the time. Me, my mother, my father, and my two younger sisters and my aunt went to drink some coffee before my work in one of the many bars that was across the parking lot. I already had my uniform on and my hair up, and I was just sitting there laughing at my sister's joke. I saw it was already 11:50, so I told my parents I will go to work now. It was a few-minute walk, but I always get there early to help as much as I can. They said, okay, and I got up from a table and started walking. And then this random lady, who I saw looking at me from a table not far, just yelled at me.
Lady, excuse me.
I turned around to see what was that, and she just marched right at me and looked me up and down. Me, yes?
Lady, I saw you sitting down with his family over there.
Points to my parents.
And I've been waiting forever to get my order. It's not even busy, but I was startled at first.
Me, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't...
Lady, don't you dare interrupt me. It's not my fault you lazy teens don't know how to work. Now, take my order and I want to pay right now so I can use change to pay for my parking.
I looked at my family in disbelief because I was wearing a full-on uniform for a restaurant, like expensive clothes, and in my part of country, people working in a bar almost always just have a black shirt with bar's names on it and jeans. Me, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I don't work here. I can't do that for you.
Lady, oh yes you do. Why else would you wear a uniform?
My parents looked at her and confirmed what I said. She looked at them pissed and turning red.
Lady, well, at least give me some change in coins so I can pay for my parking.
Sorry, what? First, she yelled at me, and now she wants my money? WTF? Me, sorry, but I don't have any, and I wouldn't give them to you anyways because I don't work here. I said that with a higher tone, and I just turned around and walked out to a restaurant. The look on her face when she noticed I raised my voice on her is just priceless. When I left, she got back to her seat and started yelling at my parents how I was clearly not raised properly. The cherry on top could be that, while she was causing this scene, she got a parking ticket. The fourth story. No, I didn't just talk to you, and no, I do not work here. So the story goes like this. I'm asked to go get some groceries. I tend to shop at Wood Guys. It's a nice big store, great servers, great variety. I take my cousin Paris with me because she needs a few things. Now, an important thing to note is that I'm 6'3" and black. My cousin Paris is not. She is as white as the snow-capped peaks of the mountains of Caucasus. Paris is not her real name, but she's named after a place like that, and so is her sister. Paris has baby blue eyes, platinum blonde hair, dimples, and looks like someone fused Billie Eilish and Phoebe Cates together and made them Snow White. I will admit that she is really pretty, which is actually relevant to the story. She's my uncle's stepdaughter and has been hanging around with me a lot since I got back in town. Now, everything is going well. I grabbed me some usingers, spent some time staring forlornly in the ramen aisle, go check and get some meats, both real and fake, and just generally minding my own business. Paris and I split up because she was asking me some uncomfortable questions about feminine products, and as mature as I believe I am, that is the no man's land, and only my wife is gonna get me to listen to you talk about that stuff. So I head off to make some life and health decisions about some chips. I want to get the flaming hot Doritos, maybe get some Rico's Nachos cheese, get you some chorizo, some chunky salsa, and some ground beef and you've got something. But that is a very serious bathroom visit later in the day, especially for me. Do I want to risk the holy hell I'm gonna feel if I go that route? I'm very seriously in consideration. This is why I probably didn't hear this lady when she called me a first couple of times. I only noticed her when she walks up. She was white, middle-aged, and dressed like she was 20. Not a good look. I remember scoffing at her brand new Buccaneers jersey, but she had a Patriots coat and booty shorts. The jersey was one of those ones that show midriff, and I have to admit, she didn't really look like she took care of her skin. I also have problem with people who dress cute when it's cold. I'm thinking all kinds of negative stuff from the start. She couldn't be more offensive unless she was rocking a Kevin King jersey. She starts up with a, "Are you gonna help me or what?" Very rude tone, hands on the hip, animated, that whole neck shaking thing. I'm like, huh? So she starts listing things, saying she asked for this and that, and for me to go to see where the butcher was. He apparently wasn't at his post. I was confused and asked her what she was on about, and she gets mad, telling me that she already asked all this and wouldn't have to repeat herself if I had listened. Well, she didn't exactly say it like that. She insulted me, but I don't for the life of me remember what she said. I was too busy trying to figure out why she was talking to me. It takes me a moment to realize she thinks I work there. I politely tell her she is mistaken, we have never spoken, and I do not work here. She tells me she sees me there all the time and she just spoke to me. Well, that she isn't stupid. I told her I didn't think she was, just that she was mistaken. I went to tell her that I'm not even dressed like I work there, but my jacket was in the cart. It's a bomber jacket that gets stupid hot indoors. So, you can see my outfit, and I'm wearing a sweater vest for my college, a polo, khakis, and Timberlands. I kind of do look like I work there. The sweater vest is indeed blue, though not the same blue as the aprons you see around. I point to the team logo on my vest and reiterate that I don't work there and she is mistaken. That is when things go from weird to this woman is insane. Paris pokes her head out of the aisle behind me and asks if I can grab one of the boxes of noodles at the top. The full box is in plastic. The flavor she likes doesn't have enough individual ones for her liking. She's a fan of duck flavor. I apologize and dismiss myself from the lady's presence and go to help Paris. This was apparently a bad move, because watching me help Paris get her ramen and then grabbing several other things from high shelves pissed the lady off. Keep in mind, Paris is like 5'2" in wedge shoes. She's like a slightly tall child, to be honest. She starts in at me, loud as a banshee, giving me the, "I knew you work here." She starts yelling. Her language is colorful, and she seems to have a particular stick up her rear because she thinks I'm helping Paris because she's younger and pretty instead of helping a real woman like her. I must have had a look on my face because she gives me a, "I will have you know plenty of men find me attractive," and said some pretty disparaging things at Paris' expense. My cousin and I aren't all that close. In fact, she's a bit of a spoiled brat and our relationship is contentious at best. She and her sister are usually selfish, big-headed, and disrespectful. I'm not often very fond of her, however, she is my cousin, and you best believe you ain't gonna disrespect her in my presence. If I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't let you disrespect her sister London either, and I cannot stand her butt. I say, "Look here, lady, I understand you're having some kind of identity crisis," gesturing at her outfit, "but I can assure you that I do not work here. My cousin is not some hot girl I'm helping instead of you. We have never spoken before, and despite what the police would have you believe, we do not all look alike." She then accuses me of calling her racist, which I laugh at as she tells me, "I will have you know that I've dated black guys." Which Paris chimes in, letting her know that she can choke down as many black potatoes as she wants and that don't make her not racist. The woman said she doesn't hate black people and we're racist for assuming she does. This pisses off Paris, who tells her she ain't got to hate black people to be racist. Just think that being white makes her better or them worse. You ain't gotta hate nobody to treat them different cause you're all up in your own butt. Which, gonna have to give her a gold star for. I'll be real, never expected to hear something like that from her. It took a bit, but the commotion finally got attention of a worker who comes over. He's a black guy, as tall as me, carrying several items in his hands. I cannot express enough how much he looks nothing like me. I turn to midlife crisis and I can see the recognition on her face when she looks at him. He is skinny as sin. I used to be a defensive lineman. I've never been that skinny. He immediately asks if there's a problem and starts handing her things, apologizing because the item she was looking for had been in the area it was supposed to be, just moved from where she remembered it being. Which is code for you should have took 5 seconds to look around. She's stunned silent for like 2 minutes, like you can see the clockwork going on in her head. She wants to say something, but she keeps looking up trying to figure out how she mistook me for this guy. She shoots Paris a dirty look cause she's giggling like an idiot. Lenny wants to say something so bad, but she holds back to her credit. Her skin reddens like a tomato and her face is going through emotions. It's like if she was an actress that was told to emote just with her face. Her acting coach would have applauded her cause she was running the gambit. Lots of head nods and everything, like she having a heated conversation in her head. She then starts stammering. I know she wants to continue this argument, but she's lost all footing cause I step over the next to the guy to illustrate how little we resemble each other. Paris is laughing her butt off now. I look at the guy and say, she just confused me for you. I mean, can you blame her? We could be twins. He looked at me funny for a moment and then realized what happened and gave the look that all black people give each other in this situation, which is basically us thinking, the audacity. I very politely but very condescendingly tell the lady, I'm happy you've found your man and I hope the rest of your day is exceptional. I find being polite is better screw you than saying screw you. Paris hit her with a have a nice day, Karen, with no emphasis on the Karen, and we just walked away. I have to admit, despite our differences, I was very proud of my cousin for that. She's not known for sticking up for anyone, she's kind of spoiled. But I was happy she stood up for me, because I might have said some things most full if she hadn't. After we left, I took her to get ice cream. She is in her early 20s, but really likes ice cream. The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of that Karen. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.